Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Austin here, and thank you guys for tuning in for yet another video in the Ultimate Video Editing PC build series. Today we're going to be taking a look at which RAM we're going to be using for this system. So far we have unveiled that we're going to be using an i7-4770K along with a Z87X UD4H motherboard from Gigabyte, and to pair that along we're going to be using this RAM right here. That's going to be the TridentX 2400 MHz RAM. Right here I have 8 gigs. And this will probably run you about $90. Unfortunately, RAM prices have gone up, but this was a pretty good deal as most of the 1600 megahertz RAM was around the same price. And the reason why I chose this one is, first of all, it looks sweet. You can see it black and red, it matches our motherboard, but also it runs at 2400 megahertz. Now let me explain that real quick. I thought I'd go with the fastest RAM possible because, as you can see here, it is compatible with Z87, the Intel Z87 chipset, which supports Intel XMP profiling, which just basically means that it allows your motherboard allows you to run the RAM this fast. You wouldn't see any improvements if you're doing something like gaming. Most gaming rigs will just use regular RAM that runs at 1600 megahertz, and that'll be perfectly fine. But since we're going to be doing video editing, working with a lot of files, I figured we go ahead and just get as fast RAM as possible. I figured it wouldn't hurt. The cast latency on this thing is 10, and again, video editing doesn't really matter, but if you're doing something like gaming, you will probably want to get something with a cast latency of like 10 or lower, preferably 9. And if you want to, you would actually be able to step this down and get that higher latency, maybe like 7 or something. But I thought that this would be a good value for the price, at least, since it was basically around the same price of what I got what other RAM sticks are, what the price for other RAM sticks are. And you can look in the description to see the pricing and availability. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the RAM out of the plastic right here just to show you guys what this thing looks like. I think it looks kind of sick. So here is one of the memory modules. You can see it has this nice red heatsink on top if you're going to be running it at that frequency of 2400 megahertz. And it just has an overall nice black and red design, matches the motherboard, really fast speeds. And when you're buying RAM, you really can't go wrong with G.SKILL. They make pretty good stuff, fast stuff. So I mean, this looks great. It'll match the motherboard nicely, and it also comes with this sticker. Again, another badge to put on your case to say that, hey, I'm using G.SKILL RAM. So this is the RAM that we're going to be using. This is the G.SKILL TridentX series. I'm definitely going to be throwing in another pair of these to bump it up to 16 gigs, but right now we're just going to stick with 8 gigs and I'll upgrade in the future. But starting off with 8 gigs at 2400 megahertz, it's going to be pretty fast. Another note to be made about when you're choosing a RAM is to notice how what the profile is on it. If you look at Corsair's line, they have really fancy RAM, and a lot of these heatsinks can get really big, so they do have low profile ones, so that if you are not using a CPU liquid cooler, if you're using one of those big fans, then you might not have enough overhead to fit these RAM sticks in because the heat sinks are so big. So when you're choosing RAM, just make sure that the design of your RAM fits what you're going to be using in your case, and make sure the RAM can actually get in there with your CPU cooler and all your other components. So that's basically one of the only things you have to worry about. And with this RAM in particular, you can actually unscrew the heatsink and take it off, but I would recommend that you don't do that unless you're going to be clocking it down to 1600 megahertz. If you're going to be using it at the full 2400 megahertz or even overclocking it above that, you're going to want to have this heatsink on it, as these things can get pretty hot when they're running at those high frequencies and taking in all of that voltage. That's about it for this. Just DDR3 RAM. You really can't go wrong choosing much things. But again, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm going to be bringing you guys more components, and we're finally going to get to that build that you guys will be waiting for. So again, thanks for watching. This has been Austin, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.